I hope there's no double voice comment here, since since I'm recording this video while focusing on building this Mercurius model. I took it from the Viet model from the episode from last time's episode. The only difference is that I modified the horns, turned to green, something like a Loki-esque vibe. I'm using the Tolgi shield to make it different, something that is close enough to for the Mercurius. But since my version of Tolgi's uses like a laser blade like module with a barrier in it, this one I made a more traditional shield, like a Trojan shield. And I created the Kurosawa like laser rifle with cordon, just for make a little touch. Oh yeah, I haven't added a cord yet, so you'll see. I made something a little different to test it out. How to make the cord bendy without using the bones. And when I took on the first try here with the test render animation, it works. So here's what I did. And I also add some claw-like jetpacks. This is actually for an orbit cannon, or in the Gundam universe, it's funnel. So I'm focusing now on animation. I'm making a simple flashy pose for this Mercurius. Test cord to do some a little test for the cord and the pose as is. This is how I'm planning. This is how I plan for the attack style. So draft lang muna. First things here, I'm arranging the camera angle to see what's best. Well, based on the photographer's idea, as well as in filmography, different angles have different perception. Like for example, if you're in the lower view, you can perceive this guy here is a big bad boss. But if you're on the upper view, something like that, something like a guy from top of the building will try to view the camera from below, can be signified as this mobile suit is concept or preview. If it's on a portrait shot with a different angle, you're meeting with this guy, or something like he's walking or something. Okay, so I added I add this gun as a parent of as the child of this hand bone. I give it a few adjustments. Sometimes the gun handle dislocates from the hand, so I have to make sure I have to readjust it accordingly every time I added a new keyframe and pose to ensure the consistency, to make it look realistic, as if this mobile suit this red robot is really holding the gun here. Take a little few turns here. Check on in the dope sheet, action sheet editor. I have to make sure that I have to remember exact which frame I place that position of the gun, and sometimes the arms has to be relative to the shoulder. I'm trying to figure out the cause of the displacement. When I try to test run this gun, some of the parts of the gun, I I usually don't do the straight up eh, mesh mesh control here. So what I did is I joined the meshes together, the small cube along with the big cubes. The big cubes are the buttstock of the Kurosawa-inspired laser gun. I want to make it more badass in my version because the original Mercurius wields a handheld laser gun. This one here is as light as the original Mercurius, but with a different aesthetic to make it look more menacing, and it has an attached cord similar to the Airplane gun to give him infinite load of laser ammo so that you'll be able to chase down the target. So you can see here I accidentally move in a weird position, and you can see the small cubes are isolated. So before I figure it out, I'm trying to find out what the cause here. I tried to switch these small cubes into the parent of the buttstock, but it didn't work for unknown reasons. Sometimes, like in programming in Blender, there will be a little hiccups here that try to defy your logic. So what I do after this is I join all the small cubes, the big one, so that this will be the quickest fix here. Okay, I select all the mesh model here. Yeah, maybe a little bit slow here when I try to move around because it's not been joined completely 100%, because there will be times that I need to modify the gun or the robot parts here. Okay, I tried to swivel again one last time and seems that it's a little bit off. So I haven't joined it completely. So maybe I didn't put the buttstock to as a child of I didn't put the buttstock as a child of the parent. The parent is the gun here. My lips a little bit dry. Oh yeah, if you're gonna wanna see the time lapse version of the Mercurius, feel free to increase the playback speed to see the conclusion. No time for bullshit. Doing my explanation how it works, so it's up to you on how you understand this video and how I figured out and how I animate this. But if you want to learn something on the relaxing side, if you really want to have some learn vibes on it, then I'm gonna stick on the time span playback. Okay, so my imagine here that in this gun, I'm planning to use it as a main gun, shooting blue bolts of energy to slow down the fast targets. And there is an ultimate version of this Mercurius, so I nicknamed Crimson Cyclops. Well, for copyright reasons, I don't know, but there's some certain exceptions here in the fan-made art. If I'm gonna make something original but inspired from the original Gundam thing, that will be in some different cases. So the ultimate form here is when the horns are getting bursted into green flames, then his right arm weapon will wheel into a giant blue sword, just like in the Amphion. And I don't know what to do with the shield. Probably extension to the weapon here. Double hack and slash. Think about Red Ranger from Mighty Morphin Power Ranger, equipped with the dragon armor, holding with the dragon dagger and power sword. That would be awesome here. I'm thinking about if one of the claw-like orbit cannon will give an additional attachment from the shield to give it a enhanced blade weapon. Okay, I noticed that the cord is a little bit dislocated, so it's the first time for everything. So this is my first time here practicing the chord manipulation using one of the tutorials I found here in the YouTube shorts. I'm quite a little bit bored easily. So since I'm making some guide here, but a little bit hectic, I don't want to take some tutorials on along. But if I'm still willing to do some new shit, I'm gonna have to do this. So figure it out on the first try, figure out if should I select the mesh, set it as a cursor target so that the chord will attach there, and it turned out it would be a little different. And after I noticed the end result when I tried to make a hook by targeting the object, which is the gun. Later on, I'll try with attaching the hook with a new object, which is the cross marker here. I think it's like a direction like blender object. So I took on the first attempt here by attaching the hook to the gun, and then if that doesn't work, since obviously it didn't really align to the hole from the lower part of the buttstock, so probably I decided to go with adding with a new object to give a better control here. And then I put the hook to the parent, that is the gun, so that the hook marker will be the child here. So that will be the part here later on. So here's what I did this before I discovered this new tech solution here. So I checked every angle here. If there are some overlapping issues with the cord, not bad. So here's the first try here. I attach it to the gun directly, but when I try to move to the default position, you can see the cord is completely offset instead of attaching to the lower part of the buttstock. That's because the end of the cord is attaching to the gun model instead of the specific area. In order to attach it to the specific area, first of all, I'm gonna have to attach with a new object, and then that new object will be the pivot control, and then I'm gonna have to assign the area visually before I'm gonna set it as a child of the gun. Try to make a few twists and turns, but I don't know if this one will work. That's what I did from before here. So twist and turn, twist and turn. Seems nice in that fixed position, but what if I change the movement of the right arm? Could be retain still aligned from the buttstock, or it will go offset. As usual, the end cord still sticks to the lower part of the buttstock. But does the cord still stays at the lower part of the buttstock here? Okay, try to drop the gun here. Checking on the camera scene. See what it looks like. I think the cord is a little off, but these bone cubes are not completely dislodged as I swivel the upper body. Now I'm posing the red mobile suit to perform aim like that, and then I give some edge face gesture as if he's aiming or giving a warning pose that clearly says if you don't back out, I'm gonna have to shoot it right through your ass. Okay, I'm gonna make some glare effect, touching the keyframe for the emission and the emission color. I like the warm up part here, the glare effect before for aim and fire. By the way, I do some animation here. I don't know if I did it in the morning or the evening, since my little brother Mark is getting a little cocky, wants to stroll on the wall, wants a very special shot, so I have to bear with him, doing my best to animate without any distraction. Otherwise, most of the time I'm doing it at night work, and I'm animating or building 3D model whenever my body feels like it. I'm still doing some recovery. I'm in a healing progress here as a better person here. If you want to avoid any bad habits here, please stick to the creativity in 3D modeling. Don't let the temptation strikes you. The future depends on it. Instead of drinking a few beers and have sex with women, which deteriorate your talent skill in drawing or 3D modeling or whatever heck you have talent in your hand, you put it hand on your pencil, not on your hard stick. This is considered the zen of all creativity, drawing and modeling. Now I'm taking the right angle here. I want something like a more badass cowboy dynamic. Like the main character from the guy who plays Dirty Harry also play as the bounty hunter from the cowboy movie from 60s. Clint Eastwood. So yeah, I'm gonna give this red robot a Clint Eastwood vibe. Probably matches with the Hirogui attitude, because Hirogui is a skilled soldier. He's not being hesitant to take down a target, but I hope that Hirogui has a philosophical side, and he'll do whatever it takes to be a good soldier, to fight against the bad guys who try to disrupt the humanity. Anyway, I'm not here for the long trivia about Hirogui or whatever the heck the pilot is and the attitude. I'm just here to animate. I got a little bit sore throat. A little dry because I talk a lot. I'm just a man of few words. Okay, looks like it's getting better, and I always set on 60 frames per second, so I have to make sure that every 200 frames required to lift a gun like that. Otherwise, if you're gonna focus only on 100 frames per movement, you have to scale it down to 25 to 30 frames. Forever render, never get to surrender. Main system, engaging combat mode. Target side. I'll make a contrast of the background. Red for the base color and the background is night blue. Almost the whole body but not the cord. The previous work, Viate, the background is earth tone, which probably close to the red. My final version of the animated Viate has to fly in space while aiming with his badass Kurosawa-like gun. So you may check it out in my YouTube shorts here, along with my Mercurius model trying to lift the gun while staying consistent with the cord attached to it. That looks like a nice thumbnail for the short video across platform like Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. I give it a little allowance of maybe 40 frames in between if you're running 60 frames. Here's my dynamic exit here. Afterwards, it's supposed to be playing on a dark blue background, but I didn't notice that I forgot to hide the walls and floor, but I'll keep it anyway. That's a little bit pretty long here, so I extend this part of frame here for the hands. For the laser blast here, let's do some nice dynamic display here, but with a little cheat on angle to make it look like that gun is heading straight through that part of focal point. I don't know if that's exactly correct here. Focal point here. Whenever the gun points at the direction in that angle. Ombre Kamara Sutra. Okay, let's add some nice sand floor here. I really love that sand color of the floor. This was intended for display purposes when I'm previewing the latest creation, the parts, and combining the several light hues of orange, sunset orange, and fluorescent light, fluorescent white. And this is what it looked like here. The area light is come in handy to give a studio professional fish like that. Trying to set the right mood for the lighting. Would I give a gloomy blue, or probably the blue gives a calm demeanor, as well as the fitting color for the background, the ambience or rim light quotient, too bright. Red but doesn't need sunscreen, or it's not here for the sun bathing. Bathing's for bitches. Sorry. He came here to take down one of the big fat ass. Lazy bum. Pretty deserty. Kinda nighty. Probably I'm trying to get the right hues of earth tone. Well, that's about it. Let's see what happened after I finish this. The lightning is not that perfect, but at least it will do. At least it looks like a static chain reaction. Isolated orange and blue, but I prefer the blue though. I tried to uh, I tried to make some gradients here. The orange part at the end, but it have it ended up just the way it is. But I'll stick to the flat blue. Now I discovered this part here. Graph editor. I added some modifier here for the flickering effect, the noise, the step, and the limits. I'll try my best to make it look closely to the planetary defense system for this for my own version of Mercurius, but I give it a crazy add-on here. Looks like a close for the new Gundam's fin funnel that looks like a crab claw, pincers, shoots lasers here, and this is not ordinary Planet D that caused chain reaction, but I made it something a little bit different. Similar to inspiration from Abe, the anti-chat orbs here, but I redesigned it for not just for the new Planet D defense here that came out from the hulls of the claw here. And this is not ordinary planetary defense, but it also shoots lasers, but a burst of laser for support offense. Okay, it might be a little laggy because I made a lot of effects here. The only way to do is to cut down the meshes from the mech here, but I just leave it at as is, like stacking up all the panels here, put as a child of the main part on each body part, like the shoulder and heads here. But bear with me, it will work the same. Oh, color black looks scary, but I'm gonna add some transparency though, and let's see what will happen.